Hello, welcome back. Today I'm drawing on a 14 by 11 inches paper. I'll be using the Micron 0.5 and the Tombow gray shades for this artwork. First, I start with the Micron 0.5. Now I'm just drawing in the fur, following the direction of the fur on the dog itself. Of course, I have to leave the highlight and shadow undrawn because the highlights will be very light and the shadow will be mainly using the Tombow marker to shade it in. The Micron 0.5 will only be using it for the mid-tone so that where the most detailed part is shown. I use mostly the 0.5 for this drawing, mainly because this paper is quite large. It's not like super big, but it's still large enough so that I can use the 0.5 to draw in the details. Sometimes I use the 0.1 as well, but for this one, 0.1 is a little bit too small and it takes a long time to really fill in the gaps. So I think the 0.5 is the best fit for an 11 by 14 inches paper. When I'm drawing the snout of the dog, I have to really pay attention to where the whiskers come out from. Usually those parts is a little bit darker, but also to the direction of those fur because it's no longer just going upward, but it's slanted toward the corners of the paper. So as you can see, when I'm drawing different parts of the dog, I have to really pay attention to the direction of the furs. For example, when I'm drawing the side, I have to make sure that the fur is going outward, but sometimes when I'm drawing like longer fur dog, the fur is so long that it starts dripping down, so it starts curving downward because of gravity. This one here, the dog's fur is not too long, I would say it's quite short, so it doesn't have that curving down effect. Now at this point, it's quite interesting. You'll notice that my strokes tend to be a little bit longer than the top parts of the dog because of the longer fur. Remember, each stroke that we're drawing is basically we're drawing in each fur. So if that part has longer fur, I'll be using longer strokes. For the eyes, I'll be using the Tombow dual tip markers. The dual tip meaning that it has a pen tip and a brush tip. I'm mostly going to be using the pen tip because I want to draw more details in the eyes area. I started with a darker shade and then slowly working toward a lighter shade because I want to get a nice smooth gradient on some part of the eyes. And also when I'm drawing the eyes, I want to make sure that all the lines are going toward the center of the pupil, so that it really represents how a real dog eyes look like. Don't forget that there is also the highlights that we need to leave it white. As for the nose, it's really interesting because I already used the Micron 0.5 to sketch in the darker part of the nose, but now I'm using the Tombow to really create the texture on the nose. If you pay attention to a dog's nose, you'll notice that there are many textures on there, and it's quite rough. It's unlike the fur, but it does have a rough texture on the nose there. So you have to pay attention to all those little small dots on there. And as for the face, I'm also using the Tombow marker for the face to add on to the shadow of the dog. As you can see, I'm adding a mid-tone to the right side of this dog here. I already have the fine liner that created the texture, the fur texture on the head, but now I'm adding the shadow. First, I'm adding a mid-tone and switching between a lighter tone and a slightly darker tone, but I want to start with lighter color so that I get a feel of how light or how dark each part is. Remember, getting the gradient on the dog is really important because we want to get a smooth looking surface on there. So we want to have some gradient. We don't want too many hard edges. What I usually do is I start with a lighter tone and then working my way toward the dark, and then using the lighter marker to blend off the darker value afterward. So it's basically light, medium, dark, and light again. When I finish around 80% of the head, I start to move my way down toward the body. So first I color the collar, and then the under the collar, below the collar, and all the fur after that. Today I won't be showing the entire drawing process, but mainly talking about the head and how I use the Tombow markers as well as the Micron 0.5 for the details. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you next time.